are live. Welcome to a temporary show that we've been doing the last few weeks called The Quarantine Connection, for lack of a better term. I don't have time to come up with a real title, but basically the idea is how do we stay connected during this time of quarantine throughout most of the country. And so my guest today is seminarian and Deacon Charles. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Deacon Adam. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Very good.
I should say I'm doing great. This is like first world complaints. There's a new house going up next to me, and the construction is driving me crazy. But I'm sure that my house annoyed my other neighbor. So
yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, we're taking refuge here in Cornelia, Georgia, and the pollen has got me. So
yes, the pollen in the South has officially arrived.
Yes.
So why don't you introduce yourself before we get into today's topic?
Well, certainly. I'm Deacon Charles Youngblood. As you said, I'm a second-year seminarian at St. Vladimir's, coming to the end of my second year. I am originally from the Atlanta area, from Douglasville, Georgia. I've been in the Navy for the past 17 plus years. I also spent some time in Waco as a police officer. I went to seminary in 2018. I was living in Waco, Texas at the time, and a member of St. Andrew Mission there. So right now I'm assigned with Father Tom Zane at the St. Nicholas Cathedral in Brooklyn. So, and like I said, due to COVID-19, we've come down to Georgia and currently staying with my in-laws, and I've taken over my father-in-law's office here. So gracious to give it to me. And here I am talking to you, sir.
All right.
Just glad to be here.
That's a great introduction. I think we have an idea what's going on with you in your life right now. And what's interesting is the timing of what you've been doing. And so maybe we could start with, the March 1st launch and what you were doing there. And I don't know the whole story around that. So I'm going to kind of let you guide us through the story of what's going on.
Certainly. So at St. Nicholas, we are doing a Lenten book study. We're actually reading 30 Steps to Heaven. It's put out by Ancient Faith Press. And we were going to meet as a group. I think I've got a little more than half a dozen, 7 or 8 people at the parish. And we were going to meet once a week after liturgy for about an hour. But everybody having very busy lives and, may miss a meeting here or there. We wanted to maintain contact during the week, in addition to those face-to-face meetings. So we decided as a group to use WhatsApp, the text feature, and use it kind of like a Blackboard or a posting platform in order to maintain contact throughout the week. And we did this in a bunch of different ways. One, discussing the readings, the assigned readings for the week. And 2, to post anything that was really more or less the highlights and notes from the actual meetings, the face-to-face meetings themselves. And we only actually got to do one face-to-face meeting. So this medium ended up being a blessing, because before we actually started doing Zoom, which eventually those face-to-face meetings transitioned into, for that first, 2 weeks, we were really relying solely on WhatsApp for that discussion piece.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating to the timing of you starting on WhatsApp. You said, I think maybe around March 1st, and then now, now it's become critical.
It has. Yes, it was Forgiveness Sunday that we met and discussed it. Just like many parishes, every parish, I would assume, everybody's got such busy lives, and, invariably somebody's going to miss a meeting. So we just wanted to have that record of discussion in order, for those to fall back on and whatnot. So, yeah.
We have quite a few people in the audience. They might ask questions. They might not. I don't, it just kind of depends, but just want to give a reminder to the audience. You can ask questions by commenting if you're interested. To go back, I think the next level of this, you said, was within a couple of weeks, you guys moved to Zoom. What does that look like? How are you using it? Same schedule, all the details related to that.
Well, that's a really good question, and a lot of this has evolved. We had the discussion on the WhatsApp group about how to proceed since we couldn't meet in person anymore, and several of the folks in the group, come from various disciplines, and one of the young ladies in the group has a lot of experience with Zoom and this type of platform, and suggested we use that, and that's what St. Vladimir's many of the professors are using right now. So I was familiar with it. So I created an account, which was a free account, and we started using that. Now, the way that worked for us, I would set a timer on my phone for 40 minutes and try to watch it as close as possible, because at that 40-minute mark, you're going to get kicked off. But we would just turn right around and create a new group and keep going. Our meetings are averaging about 90 minutes. But this has further evolved because Father Tom Zane at the Archdiocese has purchased a membership or to Zoom, so we don't have to do that anymore. So
okay,
yeah.
And are you keeping it at the same time? Is it Sunday?
It is. We've flexed a little bit here and there, accommodating for certain things. This past Sunday, for example, we've been meeting on Sundays at 7 p.m. But this past Sunday, Father Tom and I did a Teen Soyo meeting at 7 on Zoom. So actually, we're meeting tonight at 7 p.m. So,
well, tell me about the Soyo meeting. How did the teen meeting go?
Oh, that was great. Well, to back up a little bit, we did. Father Tom hosted a virtual coffee hour via Zoom on Sunday, right after church, at about 1 p.m. It was just such a breath of fresh air to see everybody. His Eminence has made mention to Saint Zosima and the monks at his monastery, traveling through the desert and in that solitude in their Lenten journey. And indeed, that's true. And this meeting that we had, the coffee hour, it was like a drink of water in the desert to see everybody. It was just such a beautiful thing. And very much the same, meeting with the teens. It was nice to see what they were doing, to hear all of their different stories about what's going on in school and all of that kind of good stuff. So it was wonderful.
What did you actually do for the teens? So, like, was it discussion led? Was it just fellowship?
Sure. So there was a reflection that I typed up and was sent out to the teens on the gospel and, of course, the life of Saint Mary of Egypt. And they were to read that, and that was sort of the jumping off point for the discussion. So, of course, we spent a few minutes talking about how everyone's doing, what's going on, and then really jumped into the sort of the meat of the topic. And we're just really blessed and fortunate with the teens, really all the parishioners. They're just so engaged in that way, and we had a really nice, fruitful conversation. It was really refreshing.
I don't see any questions, so I don't think we have anything else. Do you think we should cover? I don't know if there's anything we've missed. You've got a lot going on with this online ministry. Are there any aspects of this that we've overlooked so far?
Well, I don't think so necessarily. Just that it's ever evolving, and that just try to look for the things that you can use and engage the people that you're ministering to, because oftentimes, as you know, Deacon, and as we all know, they have such wonderful ideas and come from disciplines and careers that, the people that I talk to know much more about this stuff than I do. So, definitely benefiting from that. But WhatsApp has been very, very good to keep discussion going, and then also to be able to refer back to that later on down the line, and which we've done, copied and pasted something from before to talk about it again, as in this book, things build on each other, for example. So oftentimes we have to go back and go over those things, which is nice to have that record.
What kind of a schedule for the book in terms of when do you think you'll be finishing with it? Is this kind of just, to be announced? Like,
No, I think, I pray, God willing, we will finish. I think we'll actually finish on Pascha, actually.
Okay.
So we shouldn't have anything left over after that. And if for some reason we fall behind or something happens, we'll finish up after that. I've got a highly motivated group of overachievers that are in this study with me, thank God. And so I feel confident that God willing, we'll finish. So
just to help people understand, you're assisting at St. Nicholas Cathedral as
Yes.
your parish assignment.
That's right.
Has there been any talk between you and Father Tom about you possibly doing some stuff this summer, or you taking a break and focusing on other things?
Well, actually, Father Tom and I have discussed that, continuing to serve over the summer. And as a matter of fact, that was and still is the plan, pending the, being able to do so when the quarantine restrictions lift. So, catechism is kind of ongoing. That's because we have several catechumens, and the way that we do that, the way that Father Tom has done that, and he has included me in that, is there are several books that they read, and then we discuss them along the way. So we have several catechumens right now that are going through that. So hopefully we'll continue that through the summer, and then to continue to serve through the summer as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that takes care of all of my questions. I think this is really helpful to think through. We got the little surprise tidbit about the teens there, which was nice. And so WhatsApp, if I remember correctly, it's pretty much free.
It is. Yes.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, find it at the App Store. It's a great medium.
It's way better. This is, just so people understand, this is not like a group text. This is
no. And the features, the user-friendly features on it, being able to silence it, if you don't want to be bothered for between a certain period of time, all of that kind of stuff. It's great for that. And I understand a lot of folks use it for international communications as well.
There's a number of good communication apps out there. WhatsApp is one of them. Slack, you'll see Slack more often in more of a corporate feature, but it's free. I'm using Slack heavily right now. And so there's a number of these. Band is one of them that my diocese is using. So there's a number of them out there, and each one has a slightly different edge in a certain area. But if you want to stay connected, finding one of these apps and jumping in is really helpful beyond emails, beyond text messages. It can do a lot to help us stay informed and connected.
It can. It absolutely can. Slack is one that I have a little bit of experience with. A lot of the professors at St. Vlad's use it for communication as well.
Yeah, I'm starting to fall in love with it. There's always that learning curve.
Sure.
Initially you got to get over that anxiety of I don't recognize anything in this program, but once I got familiar with Slack, I really liked it. And then WhatsApp, I've mostly only used that for international communication, but it's great for international communication. But that's why I was interested to hear you say the way you're using it now. I think that's very fascinating.
Yeah, it's just been invaluable, like I say, again, especially for the reach back capability and to be able to see everything, and then just to maintain sort of constant contact. I kind of know what's going on with everybody, and they know what's going on with me. And so
that sounds great.
It's been great.
Well, thanks for coming in last minute.
Thank you for having me.
I was looking for someone to kind of talk about this stuff, and Father Tom recommended you. And so I'm glad you came on.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me.
Take care during this stay at home time.
Yes.
And eventually one day, I'm assuming we'll meet in person.
I pray. Yes.
Okay. Thanks again.
All right, take
Until
care.
next time. See you guys.
Bye now.